To give more time between.
I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, December 13th, 2011 Committee of 13 meeting. First on the agenda is public comments. We allow 30 minutes at the beginning of the meeting for the public to address this body. Each individual is allowed up to 3 minutes. Is there anybody wishing to address this body at this time? Seeing none, we're going to move into the agenda. Mr. Harrison?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules on all ordinances and resolutions to be read by title only.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor to read all ordinances and resolutions by title only. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Dale King.
Yes.
Franklin Scott.
Here.
Jay Harrison.
Yes.
Tom Allen.
Yes.
Kevin Harrison.
Yes.
Herb Hawkins.
Here.
Joel Jones.
Yes.
Shirley Salmon.
Yes.
Dan Douglas.
Yes.
Michelle Blady.
Yes.
Steve Curry.
Yes.
Patrick Carr.
Yes.
Kurt Moore.
Yes. Okay. Kind of killed two birds with one stone there. Had a roll call and a vote. So, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Very efficient.
Efficiency.
Wow.
Clerk, please read item 1.
A resolution authorizing the county judge of Benton County to apply for a grant on behalf of the Benton County Planning and Environmental Department.
Justice Allen.
Are you driving this machine? Can you scroll down a little bit? This was forwarded from the Finance Committee, and it's for the garden at the Bogle building. I'm not reading it. Huh?
Rain.
The rain garden. Thank you. I knew it was a garden. No county match, $2,500. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. Discussion. Seeing none, signify your acceptance by raising your hand. Opposed? Like sign. That is unanimous. Item 2.
An appropriation ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 2010-56, 2011 Benton County budget, appropriating additional monies and authorizing additional expenditures and Fund 440 capital projects, Department 35.
Justice Allen.
This is, I'm looking down here, okay, this is to appropriate money for the courtroom at the JJC, which includes the chairs that we talked about at the last meeting from Judge Freehoff, and I don't see him here. But the total amount is $9,500. And as Richard pointed out earlier, we've got a Scrivener's error that we can adjust should this pass at the Quorum Court meeting. At the new budget amount, Richard, is that correct? You got a hand there, I can't see it. $5,699,000. It should be 500 as opposed to 0 there, but we can fix that later. I move for its adoption.
Do we have a second?
Second for point of discussion.
Okay. Motion and second. The floor is open for discussion. Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Originally, in the original budget of the JDC, there was, I think it was $12,500 appropriated for office furniture. That was for juror chairs, deliberation room chairs, and conference table, and a couple of other chairs. This was what Judge Finch had decided needed to be done, or he needed to get the appropriate furniture. The chairs in question, the juror chairs, came in at almost $670, somewhere in that range. The thing is, Judge Schrantz had located juror chairs for his court for $440. it was pointed out, we had quite a bit of discussion of this at the finance meeting. Yes, we need to put good chairs. We need good furnishings in there. They need to be functional. They don't need to be gold-plated. Just because they're name brand Herman Miller or designer chairs does not mean that they're any more functional than something much more reasonably priced. We've and the thing is, on the juror chairs, Marshall Watson pointed out that they have Herman Miller chairs for the 911 dispatchers or CENTCOM dispatchers downstairs. There's somebody in those chairs 24/7. They're used all the time. You need good, comfortable, long-lasting chairs. The juror chairs, there's not even a juror's box in the juvenile court now. There will be out there. Chances are they won't be used 2 weeks out of the year. We can save money here, and the courts deserve respect for the process that goes on and the decisions that are rendered there. They don't deserve respect for designer furniture. I'm against appropriating any more. We need to live within our means. We've adjusted this budget and adjusted this budget, and I'm against adjusting it anymore.
Mr. Winscott.
I voted for this at the Finance Committee meeting, and I'm going to have to change my vote. I thought about it on the way home, and I thought, there's probably not too many constituents in my district who have one $656 chair in their home. And the more I got to thinking about it, I thought, then they buy these chairs, then they got to pull the casters off of them, then they got to mount them, and they go up and down and they swivel, and I'm sure that they're a very comfortable chair. You can go over to Sam's and buy an office chair that goes up and down, lays back, for a couple $100. And I personally am in favor of approving this short of the chairs, and I think that it ought to go forward and let them buy the rest of the furniture, but I will have to vote against it if these chairs are included in the motion.
Mr. Allen.
Do we have the information, Richard, still on line item as far as what the chairs cost in this total request? Is it in here somewhere?
I can give you that, Mr. Chairman. At least with the information that was given to us at the finance meeting, the total cost was $7,872. If you want this, you can have this.
Frank, is that for the chairs there?
Yes. Yeah, I think that includes that one juror's chair that didn't have any arms for a potential person who is very large.
Yeah, the individual price is $656 per chair. Total extended out $78.72. Now, let me, I'm not going to go to the wall and defend this because it is expensive. However, I don't know how many of you guys that are opposing this have been out looking for chairs lately. Now, Dan, I know what your chair looks like at home, but I'm not going to compare it to that. Let me educate you a little bit on chairs. Chairs are expensive, folks. They're not what you think. If you go out and equip an office, which I happen to be somewhat familiar with that, it's expensive to buy any kind of office furniture. Let me tell you. And Herman Miller is probably top of the line. There are others that you could get. At some point, you get to where you're nitpicking whether you're saving $100 or $150, and I'm all for that. But I just want this body to know when it comes down to time to whatever we're going to do for chairs, don't think you're going to get them for $50 or $100.
No.
And you can't go to Sam's. You can, but I won't vote for that because we'll be back the next year buying chairs at Sam's again. Sorry, that means to offend anybody. That's not intended to be a slam, but.
You're talking Sam's Furniture, right?
We're going to have to get used to the idea that it's going to be an expense to put some chairs that are decent quality in these places. There was also a point made up in the last finance meeting about the fact that they probably need to be some kind of leather or some other type of fabric that's not a fabric or cloth, because they're going to wear out. Just because of the friction from the clothing that you're going to be wearing, and who knows if they've got pencils in their pockets or whatever. But everybody just needs to think about the fact that you're not going to slash this by 50% or 75% and get something that you're going to be satisfied with. This is going to be a nice building. We've all talked about that. Dan's already cut the grass out and no bushes or anything else outside.
Nice for gardeners.
Now he wants to put in cinder blocks and 2x4s for him to sit on now. But anyway, I just want everybody to realize that this is not.
What was the warranty on these chairs?
Does anybody know the answer to that question?
Richard,
I don't think
do you
that was
remember what the
discussed.
warranty on these chairs were?
Extended.
It was a long time, but I just can't remember. 6 years?
Yes.
All right. And if we went with something, Judge, you might be able to answer this. When we was looking at the chairs for Judge Schrenck's jury box over there, that was $400 and something. What was the warranty on those?
I couldn't tell you, Kevin. I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know.
There is intended to be more court cases in this courtroom, though. Nobody's currently being held in the courtroom right now.
Well, he also said it was going to be using for people sitting in there for training when it wasn't court wasn't in use. Am I correct?
He needs to look at what he's got.
That's, if I'm, that's another point I was going to bring up, is the fact that they're going to try to utilize this much as we utilize these computers for other than just quorum court use. They're going to do the same for these chairs, more than what they're being used now. And I brought up the point the last time, this is the people that are going to be sitting in these chairs are our constituents, the taxpayers. It's not going to be somebody that's, these are the VIPs. These are the people who are serving the county and serving our country by sitting in that jury box. So I'm going to vote for it. I think it's a good expense, a good investment. We're not. If this was something that was a whole lot more money, but it's not. I think that probably we're splitting some hairs over what's going to really be a. I mean, you could get something a little bit cheaper, but I don't know how much cheaper it's going to be. I'm done.
Mr. Douglas.
Mr. Chairman, I got to looking at this price list here. If we went with the chairs Judge Schrenck had, which were $440 each, that would save $2,640. And then on the conference room chairs, I'll be honest, I was out at airport board meeting the other day, and I turned over some chairs there to look at the brand on them and some models there in the conference room, boardroom, and they were Han, and I got on the internet and looked and buy them for about $230 a piece. If we took off $150 off this $450 on these others, that comes up to another $2,100, which both of them together $4,700, still allow for good chairs. I would move to amend this to change it to a $5,000 appropriation, additional appropriation.
Okay, we have a motion and second to amend the line item to bring it down to what, $5,000?
$5,000.
Okay. So discussion on the amendment.
Well, I'm just trying to think how we're going to. Sorry.
Jay Harrison, did you have your hand up?
No, I just.
Okay.
But I do have. I think Justice Allen. Okay.
I think 5,000 is fair right now, because if I remember right, I think this is the only bid that was brought to us in the Finance Committee. Am I not correct? I don't think there was any other bids brought up, and I think that maybe doing this, maybe we could look at a few others and have some other bids to look at, some options. So I think I like that.
Ms. Sandlin?
Well, I think Mr. Allen is next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thank you, Ms. I guess we can, the ordinance that we're voting on doesn't have a line item on it. This supporting document does, so I don't know how I guess you amend the ordinance where you just take the dollar amount out.
What they're saying is to change the 9,500 to 5,000.
Yes.
Okay, so the ordinance
So we're cutting.
right here, instead of 9,500, would be
It'll be 5,000.
5,000. But then you still leave it up to the judge to purchase what he wants to do, right?
Yeah,
Within that-
within that budget.
Within that budget, yeah.
I think that's fair.
They give him a budget of 17,500 total.
So if everything else remains the same,
Chair's going to cut something else down.
so you're saying he can get it for $2,000 some odd dollars? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Because the line item was $7,000 some odd dollars. So if everything remains the same in the budget, $7,900.
$7,500 of this is for juvenile probation and juvenile detention. Okay, the other $12,500 is for Judge Frios. We're going to increase it by 9,500 to take him up around the 22,000. Okay, this will be giving him 17,000. The total will be 25,000.
I just want to make sure you're thinking through all this, that because it's not just chairs he's purchasing.
Right.
That's all those figures did. That is taking down the price of the jurors' chairs to the same as what Strance was getting over here at 440. There's been some continuity too between the judges there, and cutting down the Herman Miller conference table chairs to something a little bit more reasonably priced. It still leaves them $250 to buy conference room chairs. You can get a good chair.
Ms. Sandlin?
Okay. Ultimately, he will have X dollars to spend on furnishing his offices. It will be his choice. Maybe he can find a less expensive conference table and this kind of thing. But ultimately, he has this many dollars to take care of his department. It's just that we're giving him this much less.
4,500
It's-
less.
Yeah, which I have furnished offices for, and you go out looking for a few extra bargains. But ultimately, he still has a pretty good sum to furnish it. It's not totally destroying the budget for, and it still gives him several options that he can look for.
Judge Kleiner?
I just want to point out, we're moving in there on January the 4th and 5th. That's what, 3 weeks? And it's going through the Christmas holidays. Most of these chairs aren't in stock. They got to make them. Some of them might be, but we need to get a hold of Judge Freoff if we're going to do this. And I say we. I mean, we're all in this together, because he really needs to know. Because I think they've got a jury trial scheduled for sometime middle of January. So that's a factor. I'm just letting you know that time is of the essence here, and I assume that this still has to go to Quorum Court. Is it a week from tonight? So just keep in mind that some of us, we need to get with him tomorrow and talk about this so we can try to get this furniture ordered and in place.
Okay, are we ready to vote on the amendment?
I just want to point out he was notified to be here at Finance
Welcome to county government. I personally think that's a reasonable compromise.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find some way of making it work.
I'll get some 2x4s all on.
Cinder blocks?
With the concrete blocks.
Milk cans.
Do we have any more comment, or do we have any more discussion on the amendment? If not, everyone in favor of the amended amount, raise your hand. Opposed? Okay, the amendment passes.
5,000.
5,000.
Man, you never let an accountant interpret.
Okay, now we need to vote on the motion. The amended appropriation. Is there any discussion on the amended appropriation to forward it on to the quorum court? If not, signify your acceptance by raising your hand. Opposed, like sign. Okay, this moves on. The amended amount moves on to the quorum court. Clerk, please read item 3, the title only.
An appropriation ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number O-2010-56, 2011, Benton County budget by authorizing transfers between categories in Department 30 Emergency Services, DEMA, LETPA grant, fiscal year 2009, Fund 294.
Nothing. Go ahead.
Justice Allen?
This is a cleanup ordinance for the grants that we discussed in Finance Committee, and it passed with virtually no discussion. I move for its approval.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, motion and second on the floor. Discussion on this item. Seeing none, all in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, like sign.
Mr. Chairman,
Justice Allen?
may I ask the committee if we could recognize Judge Freoff, since he just walked in and he probably doesn't know what just happened.
I believe that would be appropriate.
My apologies. I just came from court. We ran late tonight.
Well, we just voted on your appropriation requests, and it's a little different than what you had go through finance. So Judge Kleiner spoke on your behalf because we know there's a sense of urgency that as far as getting furniture in, we reduced your budget by $4,500. So you're going to need to make sure you can live within that budget, and whatever changes as far as ordering, you're going to need to probably get on that tomorrow to make sure you have your furniture in time for the move.
Well, I'll have some of it anyway. I'm sorry to hear that. I did bring some more information. I had pulled the budgets for each of the courts and the 6 budgets and looked at the amount of money that was going to be turned back this year, and it appeared to me that it was going to be upwards of $70,000. Does that work? You believe that to be true? So if there was a concern that we were living beyond our means and spending money that we didn't have, well, it's just not true. We collectively, each of the courts, anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 their annual budget, and those funds would be turned back. So I'm really sorry that I wasn't here for the vote. We'll have to re-examine exactly what we can do with that reduction in funds and what's available to accomplish that in a timely manner.
We just wanted to make sure you were aware of it and give you the opportunity to speak, but as you know, that this is just a committee of 13, and that this will go next week to the Quorum Court for final vote and approval. And you're certainly welcome to talk to any of us now or up until that time and appear before the court as like, which you're very familiar with.
Very well. I will try to do that, but each of the judges and the case coordinators that are involved in the budgeting, we do make a very diligent effort to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. And the point is, we're trying to put furniture and equipment in there that is quality equipment, quality furniture, that we're not going to be coming back and asking for it to be replaced in a short period of time, as has happened, unfortunately, in one of the courts just recently. So I'll make my argument, I guess, to the body as a whole. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, item 4, clerk, please read by title only.
An appropriation ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 2010-56, 2011 Benton County budget, authorizing additional transfers to Department 30 Emergency Services State Homeland Security Grant, fiscal year 2009, SHSGP Grant, Fund 293.
Justice Allen?
Yeah, this is a total appropriation of $0. This is cleanup. This came from finance. I move for its approval.
Second.
Okay, motion and second on the floor. Discussion. You see none, clerk, or signify your acceptance by raising your hand. Opposed, like sign. Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, item 5.
An appropriation ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 2010-56, 2011 Benton County budget, appropriating additional monies and authorizing additional expenditures in Department 20 Juvenile Probation Fund 010.
Justice Allen?
Yeah, this is just the $500 that for the grant money that we get every year. I move for its approval.
Second.
Okay, motion and second on the floor. Discussion. Okay, seeing none, signify your acceptance by raising your hand. Opposed, like sign. That is unanimous. Item 6, clerk, read by title only.
An appropriation ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 2010-56, 2011 Benton County budget, appropriating additional monies in Department 05 Sheriff's Office Fund 010.
Justice Allen?
I believe this is the one that compensates for overtime. Is that correct? For the overtime that we do every year, and pass with. This is what we do every year. So no controversy here. I move for its approval.
Second.
Okay, motion second on the floor. Discussion. Seeing none, signify your acceptance by raising your hand. Opposed, like sign. It is unanimous. Item 7 by title only.
Appropriation ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 2010-56, 2011 Benton County budget to amend Schedule 1 revenues by fund, authorizing transfers from County General Fund 010 to various funds listed herein to account for transfers made during the budget year 2011.
Justice Allen?
Pulling this up. Oh, these are for the capital projects transfer that we moved into capital projects, obviously. I move for its approval.
Second.
A motion and second on the floor. Discussion. Okay, seeing none, signify your approval by raising your hand. Opposed, like sign. That is unanimous. And here's the biggie. Item 8.
An appropriation ordinance to establish the Benton County annual operating budget for the calendar year 2012.
Justice Allen.
Everybody knows what this is. This is for the budget. And Dan drafted this one all by himself.
Like a line by line.
I think that everybody here knows what's in it, and we've talked about it quite a bit. And I'll put it on the floor and move for its adoption.
Second.
Okay, motion second on the floor to send the budget to the next week's Quorum Court. Discussion.
I think it's
Dan Douglas.
What a surprise.
The author.
Mr. Chairman, the Budget Committee, Finance Committee worked long and hard on this. We cut in places, we added in some places. I think overall it's a good budget, and I give it my full support.
Well, that was it.
Reluctantly.
Well, we did save $4,500 after all.
I'm looking for rent.
That's different. That's not this.
That's this year.
Would you pinch him?
Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, signify your acceptance by raising your hand. Opposed? Opposed, like sign. That is unanimous. Okay, that moves us to other business. I'm sorry.
I might point out the details of the budget is in your budget dashboard. It's the ordinance itself, all the details are remain in your budget. It's all over down there.
Okay. Do we have other business to come before this body? Announcements. Let's start here on this side.
Would like to announce a Public Safety Committee meeting January the 5th at 5:30 in this courtroom.
Okay.
An agenda will follow, hopefully the weekend of New Year's.
Just Alan, when's the next finance?
Finance is right after New Year's, January 3rd, Tuesday. It's not on my calendar, but that's when it is, at 5:30.
Thank you. Any other announcements on my right? Okay, on my left? Okay, no announcements? Okay. That brings us to public comments again. We allow 15 minutes at the ending of the meeting for public comments, 3 minutes per person. Is there anybody that wishes to address this body at this time? Okay. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Second.
Move to adjourn second, whatever.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
We all knew what he wanted. We knew what he wanted. We're out of here.